Welcome, dear listeners. I'm Jonathan Carlin.
And I'm Benjamin Carlin.
And we invite you to join us through the Griffin door, your one-way ticket to the enchanting world of Harry Potter. So grab your wands and dust off your broomsticks and join us as we unlock the dark corridors inside Order of the Phoenix, Chapter 6, The Noble and Most Ancient House of Black, live in Indianapolis! Woo! Yeah! Oh my gosh. Woo! Oh man, this is gonna be so fun. This is such a good crowd.
I'm so excited for tonight's chapter. I feel like this is going to be just a proper hootin' and holler and good time. We have actually gone through. We've reread this exact chapter. I want to say three
I've read this one a bunch now. Yeah, preparing for this. My pages are like dripping with notes.
Yes.
Bleeding highlighters.
Bleeding
highlighters.
That's right. Yeah. So for anybody who signs up over on the Patreon, we have some fantastic pages coming out once, we finish Order of the Phoenix in 39 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this one's gonna be really fun because we were sitting in the hotel room earlier this morning, and I was like, I sort of had and Jay was like, "What?" And I was like, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I'm gonna make you wait.
I'm so excited.
So now hopefully we haven't overhyped it.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully it's satisfactory. So with that being said, we need to dive right on in, as we always do, for the noble and most ancient House of Black, to the chapter
We
art.
sure do, which we can show you.
Yes, we can.
Look, oh my gosh. It's Creature.
Does anybody have copies of the book with them here?
Yeah. Share it with your neighbors.
I would like to direct your attention to Exhibit A, which is the illustration of our boy Creature here, who I can't help but feel is swole as heck.
Jacked.
Has he been hitting the gym?
I know, he hasn't been cleaning.
He hasn't been cleaning, but he can bench press
Look at his traps.
Yeah.
They're huge. It's going to describe him as having saggy skin, and I'm like, Mary Grand Prix. I don't think you captured that.
Yeah.
Man looks jacked.
It's like when he keeps referring to Mrs. Black as his mistress. I was really worried about how that would go, so I'm physically sweating right now.
Went right for it, yeah.
So is Creature.
I know, you're all groaning, but then in Crimes of Grindelwald, there's that half elf lady, and you're like, well, something happened.
We'll just.
I know.
Everybody's
Aren't you glad you came to the live show?
Oh man!
All right. So we got Swole Creature as the chapter art.
Yes.
For the noble and most ancient House of Black.
Yeah.
Anyway, because this is a weird situation if I'm right here that you guys haven't heard Chapter 5 yet. Right. Okay. All right. So coming out of Chapter 5, they've just had Harry got to sit in on his first meeting with the Order of the Phoenix, where they told him jack squat, if I recall.
Basically nothing.
Yeah.
Harry's finally, I get to learn what's going on. And what they went through was no one's died because he's kind of just holding still for a minute. Yeah. So that check, you haven't heard anything because nothing's happened. Let's see here. The goal is to recruit new members.
Yeah.
So far, the success rate is 2.
We got Kingsley and Tonks.
Yeah.
Woo! And that's it.
And only one of them is comically clumsy.
Yeah.
Then we find out that Fudge is an idiot, which... Wait, no? You guys are fans of Fudge? No. Tastes so good.
It does taste good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No, the delicacy Fudge is not an idiot. It is a genius, if anything. Also, we learn that there is a weapon, which is kind of incorrect.
It is, it's misleading information, really.
Yes.
It's for you, the reader, you're like, cool, weapon. Can't wait to see what that is. Oh, it's just the prophecy.
It's just
which is still important, but it's not a weapon.
It's not a weapon. It's not. Yeah.
It's not the same. And you know what? It wouldn't have. It ultimately, it doesn't. I mean, the prophecy matters, obviously, but it wouldn't have mattered if Voldemort got it. You know,
Well, that's the thing, is that the real implications of the prophecy have already been enacted.
right?
You know,
Yeah.
so it's like the fact that he was going to mark someone as his equal, like the part he doesn't know, it doesn't change anything,
Right.
because that is
like, oh, no.
like he's just going to be like, crap.
Oh man, my bad.
This would have been good to know, Severus.
Yeah, you didn't hear that part.
Yeah. It feels like you left out some vital information.
That's all.
And if I remember correctly, you had a crush on the lady whose family I was trying to attack.
Which
so-
is starting to feel more relevant, Severus.
Yes. He keeps eluding me.
My lord. No. They know it's a prophecy.
Yes,
and
because they're guarding the
Hall of Prophecy. Yeah.
Yes.
They don't know what it says, or that it like marks Harry as the chosen one.
Yeah. So at this point, Dumbledore is the only person who knows the full contents.
Right.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, let's just dive on into our very first sentence of the chapter here. Ready? Are you ready? Mrs. Weasley followed them upstairs looking grim. And then the dragons arrived. It's like she's leading them to their death. I'm fine. Well, yeah. Maybe they're friendly dragons.
Yeah, they're like fun dragons.
They're like fun dragons.
They're just there for like, Foursquare or something like that. I don't know why I couldn't. The kickball? Yeah. Well, what's another activity we can play with dragons?
Yeah.
Twister?
Barbecue. Lava. The floor is lava.
The floor is lava.
The floor is lava. Everything is lava. Oh my God, I'm burning.
We got there in the end, people. We knew that there was a game the dragons wanted to play. We didn't know what it was, but if we felt around long enough, we would all burn to death.
Yeah. Or guard the egg. That's the other game.
Oh, yes. It's a fun one.
A fun one.
They play that in Wizard Kind all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, then Molly, who is absolutely irate at the fact that she has not really had her feelings ultimately, maybe not considered, but not taken into account. But pretty much everyone got the opportunity, except for Ginny, to stay down and listen in on the meeting.
Yeah, pretty much.
So she says, I want you all to go straight to bed. No talking. As if.
No talking. No talking. Because if you don't talk about it right now, you'll probably not talk about it later.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a busy day tomorrow. I expect Ginny's asleep. Good one. Yeah.
I'm sure Ginny's asleep. Yeah.
Right. Which is exactly what Fred says. Asleep. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, as if. That he says, if Ginny's not lying awake waiting for Hermione to tell her everything they said downstairs, then I'm a flobberworm.
Good.
So I think we can safely assume that Hermione does tell her because Fred is not a flobberworm.
As far as
He's
we know.
dead. Yeah.
He's Was that a dead joke?
Yeah. They want
Fred.
the Dedrick shirts, but no Fred jokes.
No Fred jokes. Fred hurts me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got. That's
it's
how
a
long
too
we
soon
need.
joke. That's the problem.
too
It
soon
just
joke,
hasn't
yeah.
happened yet.
That's right. Come Deathly Hallows, you all are going to be howling with laughter at that
Right,
one.
right.
You'll
get it.
You'll get there.
Which is what he's doing.
What?
But in the moment of his death, he's like, "You're joking, Perce."
Spoilers.
Oh. Man, I thought you guys knew.
You were acting like you knew. To be honest. So anyway, they all head up to bed for like 3 seconds. Harry gets in his room. The blank picture on the wall is now breathing very lowly and deeply. So that's Phineas Nigellus in his room, which is just spying on him for Dumbledore, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how uncomfortable would this be? Like, it doesn't feel like portraits should be allowed to be in your bedroom. Just breathing slowly
I
and
know.
deeply.
Yeah.
Just like,
I know. It'd be like so awkward if someone was just off stage, like breathing heavy and stuff, you know?
there we go.
And then they get in the room. Ron has to explain how they can't let the owls hunt every night because he's tossing owl treats up there. And you're like, how did the owls find the house? Does the charm not work on them? The Fidelius charm?
It's hard to say. I mean, it says Dumbledore doesn't want too many owls swooping around the square, so it's like maybe like Hedwig got there and. Oh,
Combat roll.
excellent acrobatics, buddy.
Nice. They can see from that side.
Rather impressive gymnastics.
Yeah.
Yes. Did somebody imperious Ethan? No. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the owls. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. The only thing I can think is that there's the. Oh boy. Woo! Woo! I thought for a second you were going to burst into the national anthem.
Oh, God. The Grand Ma'am.
That's a different show.
That's a different show, yeah.
Yeah, we have so gotten off the rails.
We have gotten off the rails. We're only on page 2. Oh, man. I know. I can only imagine what happened is what Dumbledore just like sees Hedwig and he's like, oh, Hedwig, come here. The entrance to the Order of the Phoenix is number 12 Grimmauld Place. You're in.
And then Hedwig gives him like a little high five.
Yeah.
We should totally grab a drink later.
Yeah. See ya. I got things to do, Dumbledore. I'm delivering mail. Oh, man. Then this is going to keep happening in this book, or this chapter, is that Ron crosses the room, bolts it shut because he doesn't want Creature to come in, like as if it would help at all.
Yes.
The elves can apparate in and out, and I'm pretty sure can undo locks that are not even magically sealed.
Right, yeah. There's no magic involved. I mean, like locks are honestly just a little ridiculous as long as Alohomora exists.
Right.
Like it's just basically like a inconvenient way to open a door.
Right. Yes. That's exactly what it is. It's just like a matter of being polite, you know.
Right.
But then he's like, "Trust me, you do not want to wake up, find him prowling around your room," as if Harry hasn't been awoken by Dobby in this exact way. Over and over.
Twice last year alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poke me or something.
He does.
Yeah, he does. He listens. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get that. We get back to that. All right, let's see here.
So then they start talking about the weapon. And they point out themselves that the order, they didn't really tell us anything yet, did they?
Yes, yeah. Well, and so Harry goes to say Voldemort, and there's like the little line that says like, there was a sharp intake of breath from Ron, because he was saying Voldemort. And this is like one of those odd things where I don't know about you guys, but like I tire of seeing it like as like text you need to read, but at the same rate, I completely understand why it has to happen. Because it's like the fear of Voldemort's name is such like an important aspect of the overall story, of the terror that he like reigns.
Right.
So it's like you can't not have them do it. You can't acclimate any of the characters to the Voldemort problem.
To it ever. Yeah.
Right.
Except for, I mean, I guess Sirius and Lupin did it in the last chapter.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But I think that there are, well, I can only assume that there were several sharp intakes of breath.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right, yeah. So anyway, Fred and George arrive, and they're like, "So, caught there yet?" said George eagerly. "The weapon Sirius mentioned," said Harry. "Let slip, more like," said Fred with relish. he is just eating that up.
Yeah. So their read on the situation is that Sirius definitely wasn't supposed to tell them that.
Yes.
Which I feel like is probably true. And he was like, oh, that's obviously when Molly stepped in. But as it's the only thing Sirius has control over, I think he's definitely like, haha, see what I did? I made a difference.
I got something out there.
I got something.
But then we kind of have like an interesting exchange that goes in like kind of like an odd direction, all things considered. But there is the obvious question that we, the audience, we, the reader, also want to know. It says, but there can't be anything worse than the Avada Kedavra curse, can there? And it's like, that's the thing. It's like we have an unblockable killing curse. It's like, what else could there be? Like a cannon?
Yeah.
So like no joke, as a kid, I think that's what I pictured.
Yeah.
Like a whole bunch of like fire bolts, but they're like wand shaped into like a coil or something, and it just like blasts like green spells. Like,
like you don't even need to cast it; it just does it for you.
it just does it for you. It's all just baked right there in. That's like what I genuinely imagined this weapon had to be.
Yeah, but Ron finishes that question with "What's worse than death?" Which is that's sort of the question, isn't it, for Voldemort?
Right.
Like, because ultimately Voldemort is trying to avoid death at all costs ever. And ultimately, he kind of does, because he just ends up in that little King's Cross limbo, like in between zone when he finally like dies.
As the barbecue baby.
As the barbecue baby. Yes, the gross barbecue baby.
Put all that back in your minds. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever do that when you're listening at home? Where you like, do we ever say something you're like, no. Cool.
Nice.
Anyway, then we get, maybe it's some particularly painful way of killing people, said Ron fearfully. And then Harry chimes in with like what I think is a little bit of a humble brag, honestly. He's got the Cruciatus curse for causing pain. He doesn't need anything more efficient than that.
Yeah.
And then it says, there was a pause where Harry knew that the others, like him, were wondering what horrors this weapon could perpetrate. Which I'm like, this is like an unreliable narrator situation where I'm like, Harry, they're sitting there being like, oh yeah, forgot Harry's been attacked by the Cruciatus curse.
Yeah, right, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or awful.
What?
Yeah, I mean, cool, but awful.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
Harry's like, what could it do? They're all like, oh my God, we should have said that out loud. Harry was attacked by that curse. Wow.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah. That was so offensive.
He might not want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so then we go through a bit of a conversation. Yeah, that's just sort of like, well, who do you think's got it now? And it's like, Dumbledore's probably keeping it. It's like, well, where? And it's like at Hogwarts. And then George is like, that's where he hid the Sorcerer's Stone. And it's like, is this the kind of thing that Fred and George are like that up on?
Well, Ben, didn't know what happened down in the dungeon was a complete secret. So naturally, the whole school knows.
The whole school knows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's true.
I guess they
apparently.
do. Yeah.
But then there's like the oddest transition in the whole chapter. It says, yeah, size is no guarantee of power, said George. Look at Ginny. And it's sort of like, what an odd time to bring up Ginny's spectacular bat bogey hexes.
I know, which clearly she has hit George with at some point.
Yes.
Yes.
I do think this is kind of interesting, though, because it is one of Ginny's signature spells.
Oh, absolutely.
And it is actually the spell that Slughorn witnesses her performing and like what gets her like the invite to the Slug Club.
Yeah.
So, it must be really powerful.
Are you imagining that it covers you in bat bogeys or it turns your bogeys into bats? Bogeys into bats?
So like, what if you have like a freshly blown nose and there's no bogeys to turn? There's always something in there.
There's always something.
Okay, all right, fair enough. It seems like people who have the common cold may suffer more from these. So maybe that's what Ginny's really after. She's sort of looking for anybody with the sniffles.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you should
Cracks
not have.
knuckles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Time to go.
Ginny has no sympathy.
Yeah. This is going to be hilarious. Watch this.
Watch this. Oh, man. Anyway, then we can hear Molly going up and down the doorsteps, and they're afraid that she is going to hear them talking. And so
they apparate out.
Yes.
Crack!
It's like the note I wrote was like a car backfire.
Yeah, right. Like, oh yeah, now she didn't know you were in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Not 4 chapters ago, Vernon had to holler at the neighbors out the window about this exact thing, which makes me believe that like Mundungus is sloppy at magic and his performance of the spell just not so good.
Not so good, yeah.
Yeah.
Really loud.
It's like that's like almost like the testament to the quality of your magic.
Yeah.
Is the noise.
I love the irony too that Ron locks the door so a creature can't get in, and Fred and George immediately apparate in. Good lock, Ron.
You are all over it.
All over it, yeah. Let's see. But they do leave, and Harry starts having a quick dream, or he falls into sleep finally, starts dreaming that Hagrid is teaching them about what? Beauties, aren't they, Harry? We'll be studying weapons this term. Yeah, which I think he's imagining like creatures with cannons for heads.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's like that was last year.
That was last year. That was the blast-ended toots or whatever. Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that's cannons for butts.
Cannons for butts, yeah.
I got you. So completely, completely different creature.
Completely different creature.
We just made a fart joke.
I know. You okay?
I thought I heard a noise. Oh.
Yeah.
It was a bat.
It was a bat. A
Nice.
bogey.
Nice. Does someone here have a cold? It's a callback. Anyway, so then we get a little bit of insight into the various creatures that they're finding inside of number 12 because the place has become totally infested. There's loads more doxies than Molly expected and a nest of dead puffskins under the sofa. So circled puffskins just because we know that in the very next year they are going to breed like puffskins into the smaller variation, aka the pygmy puff.
The pygmy puff.
And so part of the curiosity, we know that they're gonna scoop up some of the doxies. And so the curiosity here is whether or not they also scooped up some puffskins.
Oh, definitely they did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
really a good thing they set up the headquarters here because Fred and George really just like, wow, farming ingredients.
they really are.
Yeah.
They really are. But yeah, then there's the moss green velvet curtains that were buzzing as though swarming with invisible bees. And it's going to take them way too long.
Way too long.
That or how big are these drapes?
I know.
I mean,
I think when I imagine these drapes, they're like as big as the wall behind us. You
Yeah.
know? But it is going to take them 3 hours to clean this place.
can you imagine like finding an infestation in your curtains that took 3 hours?
They also seem like they're like about this big.
I would burn the curtains. I
Yeah,
think.
what are we saving the curtains for?
Right.
Just get rid of them.
No, yeah, we don't need those.
Especially when what they're getting rid of them with is some bottle of black liquid. Like, how nice are the curtains even after this, you know?
Say again?
They're just like, they're spraying it with like black liquid the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that stuff?
I don't know. It's just gross curtains is what it is.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Like the curtains are like unsalvageable when all is said and done.
Right, exactly.
Now I'm completely with you.
Yeah.
Yes. This is also not how I would attack this particular problem.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
But so Mrs. Weasley is complaining. She says, it's Doxyside. I've never seen an infestation this bad. What did that house elf's been doing for the last 10 years? Lifting. Every day.
Bench press.
Bench.
Deadlift.
Yeah.
Back squats. Yes.
Big.
We do get a line here that says where Hermione is immediately obviously attempting to come to Creature's defense and is like, Creature's really old, he probably couldn't manage. And then Sirius chimes in and says, you'd be surprised what Creature can manage. He lifts a ton.
Yeah.
He doesn't say that.
Doesn't say that.
When he wants to, Hermione. And we do actually get a really wonderful look at this. I feel like it's like a sweet spot to me in Deathly Hallows when Creature kind of like comes around on the trio and starts taking care of, the house and everything starts like working better. The pots are gleaming. And I'm like, no, it sounds kind of like pleasant to live there all of a sudden.
Yeah. It takes this whole group of people 3 hours to clean some curtains.
Right.
Yeah. Creature's like, yeah, I can finish this house in like an hour. Don't worry about it.
It's really not a problem.
Not that hard.
Yes.
Done.
Done.
I got rid of those curtains. That's it. I think it's also a bit of foreshadowing just for later in the book where it seems like he just sort of wanders around the house like muttering slurs and stuff. But actually he like goes and helps commit a plan which lures Harry to the Ministry of Magic. So he plays a pretty big role, all things considered.
He does indeed.
But we'd be remiss if we didn't also mention that when Sirius enters the room, he's carrying a blood-stained bag of what appears to be dead rats.
Which means it could be something else.
It appeared to be dead rats. Yeah. I've just been feeding Buckbeak. Like, oh, gosh, man. I guess we have to mention Buckbeak just so we know where he is. But, man, if you think Sirius and Harry have felt boxed up, he's just living in the attic.
All I've always thought, because Buckbeak is living in Sirius's mother's room, I always just assume that Sirius puts him in there specifically just to ruin it.
Oh, probably.
Like, I just imagine that place is, like, thrashed.
It's thrashed, for sure.
Yeah.
I love also that they've spent 3 hours cleaning this room, and Sirius just drops a bag of dead rats on a chair. Like, oh, sorry.
You guys weren't, like, trying to tidy in here,
You weren't tidying,
'Cause
were you?
I have this bag of dead rats that hopefully no one sits on.
Yeah.
More on that later.
More on that later.
Yeah. So then we have the brief exchange between Molly and Sirius, who of course just had an argument last night. They're all being like very, kind and polite with one another. So
It's very similar to Ron and Hermione after the Yule Ball.
Yes.
It's like exactly like that.
It is exactly like that. So
Yeah.
maybe Ron takes after Molly a little more
Maybe a little bit.
than we think.
Yeah.
And Hermione takes after Sirius.
Serious, yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's the connection everybody usually comes up
That's
with.
what everyone thinks. Yes.
Yeah. Then there's a loud clanging bell that sounded from downstairs, followed at once by a cacophony of screams and wails that had been triggered by the previous night by Tonks knocking over the umbrella stand. So this is a detail that I was like thinking about a lot today because I was like, why is Tonks so clumsy? And it's like it's a detail that they seem to like put like a lot of emphasis on. They also put a lot of emphasis on the fact that she's a metamorph magi, which also doesn't come up in any like worthwhile or meaningful way. Mundungus is literally like hiding at the Hog's Head later, just in his streets when they have somebody who can transform themselves to look like someone else.
I know.
But my thought here is like, is there a possibility that being a metamorph magi means that you're constantly changing your like physical structure and therefore constantly off balance?
I can see that. Yeah, like she's just sort of always morphing around a little bit.
Yeah.
Like her center of gravity's off.
Right. Like imagine if you like changed like just like the way that you're shaped a little bit. Like I can't imagine that you would just immediately like adapt to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that as why she's clumsy.
So anyway, that's my new headcanon.
That's your new headcanon. Yeah. The metamorph magi is causing her clumsiness.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Because otherwise it seems like she's pretty great at magic.
Yeah, it does seem like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although she says she got like top marks on like what disguise and detection or whatever, and it's like as long as you don't knock something over.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. As long as that. Then, though, they say that, or Sirius shouts, I keep telling them not to ring the doorbell, which is a very, very good point because keep in mind, think about this. We are at a place where you can only enter in the first place if you have been told by the secret keeper that you can enter number 12. Meaning anybody who's showing up is welcome.
Right.
Like,
right.
Dumbledore has basically given you clearance. You don't need to ring the bell when you arrive. And yet it is going to happen all chapter.
All chapter. And
Yeah.
there, if I recall, in the last chapter, it was a 3-man job refastening all of the locks on the door.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, everything about this is so silly.
Right. Even if someone in the order was like, I am such a turncoat, I'm going to tell all the Death Eaters. That wouldn't matter. They
Right.
still can't get in unless Dumbledore tells them.
Right?
Right.
Yes.
Leave the door open, man. Instead, no. Even Sirius is like, I keep telling them not to ring the doorbell, but they don't listen. They keep doing it.
Right. But so then we, of course, get the stains of dishonor, filthy half-breeds, blood traders, children of filth. And so that's good that we keep getting that. But, one of the things that I was like, and maybe this is just something I should have known, but I was like, Mrs. Black, like if we're assuming a normal, like marriage-related naming convention type situation, like took the name Black, I was like, she has made this her home for what was Orion's like home, right? Like that would be the
her
belief.
husband, Orion Black.
Her
Yeah.
husband, Sirius's father, and unfortunately, if you look at the Black family tree, there's like a way that they configure the faces, where if it's a half silhouette, it means that you were married in. If it's a full portrait, it means that you are a member of the family. Both Orion and Walburga, full face.
Exactly.
It's not anything that's like breaking news information. Like they address it directly. Like there's not a lot of purebloods, but both of their surnames was Black.
Yeah.
So it's a little odd. Yeah.
See, not everyone knew.
Not everybody knew.
Exactly.
You guys are so glad you came, right? Like you're gonna go home and tell your friends.
And if you signed the little guest book out there, or if you bought that poster, Isabel included that feature.
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Also, my face, and I think you can find all of us on there. If
Yeah,
you're
we're
paying
on there.
attention.
Even our wives.
Even our wives are on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Was that Morgan? Thanks.
I think the wives are half face,
I think they're half face.
which is good. One side should be, Yeah. Let's move on past this fact. Did you guys see the merch stand?
So, we're making them simmer in it, aren't we?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's like we'll just move on.
We'll move on. So anyway, Harry's trying to take his time closing the door because he wants to overhear what's happening downstairs. We find out that Kingsley has had an extremely long, 24 hours where he got Harry from the Dursleys,
Right.
flew to Greenland, then back to, that's a joke from last chapter. You haven't heard that yet. My bad. Kingsley gets Harry, flies to the Order of the Phoenix, has the meeting, immediately leaves, and then goes back on guard duty.
Yeah, he's having a long day.
He's having a long day.
Yeah. But he brings Moody's cloak. Hestia is who relieves him. So just a little piece of trivia there that please don't ask me in the future because I won't get it right. But then Harry has to close the door to go back to the Doxy party, which is literally what it says. The Doxy party.
It does say that. Rejoin the Doxy party.
I was literally realizing that in real time. I was what fun.
Well, there you go.
Mrs. Weasley was bending over to check the page on Doxies and Gilderoy Lockhart's Guide to Household Pests. That's like, we can
still trust in that, or
right. It must still have accurate, if not stolen, information.
exactly? Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
no
it's
one's allowed to reprint it.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And a ghostwriter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, there you go. Yeah.
Probably means something else in the wizarding world.
A ghostwriter.
A ghostwriter. Yeah. Yeah, but really, Gilderoy's mention here is just reminding you that he's a character because he's going to show up again later in the book.
Right.
At everyone's favorite chapter.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. St. Mungo's.
Yeah, St. Mungo's.
Christmas on the closed ward.
Christmas on the closed ward.
I like nothing about it. There's too many facts. I can't keep them in my head.
Much happens.
Much happens. Yeah, the Quizmasters over on Patreon, though. They have a real hoot with that one.
They do.
Okay. Anyway, so then the Doxy party begins. And I don't know what it is about this particular task, but I've always found it to be oddly satisfying.
Absolutely.
Like the weight of the Doxies is like a nice weight.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes you pick something up and you're like, this is a good weight.
They thunk.
Yeah.
You know?
They plunk into the buckets.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds really good.
Right.
It reminds me actually very much of Lockhart's clash with the Cornish pixies.
It really
That's
is
kind of
like
what I
that.
imagine them. They're about the same size and had their fairy bodies and stuff.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So they all come soaring out with their shiny beetle-like wings.
And Fred and George start stealing them, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which then it turns into Harry's conversation with the twins as they tell him all the progress they've made towards Weasley Wizard Wheezes, or when they're stealing the Doxies. They're making the skiving snack boxes. Ranger sweets to make you ill.
Yes, indeed. So, okay, here is one of the details, though, that I found this morning. Hence the gasp. Okay, so we get the line, let's see, but the moment Mrs. Weasley's back was turned, pocketed it with a wink. So,
Pocketed it.
I have to correct myself from, I think, the last time I brought this up. It's a Stephen Fry thing, not a Jim Dale thing. So thank you to the hundreds of emails I got about that one. No, I know. It's okay. But it's very interesting because on the very next page, it's going to say, unconscious Doxies lay crammed in the bucket at the foot beside them, a bowl of their black eggs, at which Crookshanks was now sniffing, and Fred and George were shooting covetous looks. Okay. This is the thing that I think is kind of interesting, is that when we get to year 6, Cormac McLaggen comes out to try out for keeper. And there's sort of the question of well, why didn't he try out last year? Because he's such a spectacular athlete. But he explains that on a bet, he ate a pound of Doxy eggs.
You're right.
And if you'll notice, he is in year 7. So he is in Fred and George's dorm room.
Oh!
As a fellow Gryffindor. So Fred and George, I think they were looking out for Ron. I genuinely do. Because I think
you're right. Because
were
they know that he's going to get the broomstick.
Right. Because he's going to get the broomstick because of getting prefect.
Yeah.
Oliver would have been their last keeper in year 3. There's no Quidditch in year 4. So this is the first time Ron has had a shot at it, and they know Cormac is right there.
Right.
Thank you.
They sabotage him.
Right?
Dude, you were so right. That is exactly what happened.
Yes. I was like, wait a second. Why does Doxy egg sound?
Cormac. That is solid. So 2 years in a row, he gets sabotaged by Ron's friends.
Ron's friends are like, no, sir.
Nuh-uh.
You shan't be on the team.
Not that guy. I don't think so. Man, that is so funny. He's like roommates with the Weasleys.
Yes. Yeah.
so
Who
funny.
aren't there because they leave this year, obviously.
Yeah.
But still.
They're not there to poison him the next year.
Exactly.
You're on your own, Ron.
Right. Yeah. You got to do it on pure talent alone.
Exactly.
And then Harry's like, or Felix Felicis.
Yeah. Or Felix Felicis.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Or the perception of using Felix Felicis.
Right. The placebo.
The placebo effect. Thank
and
you.
the confundus charm. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Confunded anybody?
Let's see here. We get a little bit of information about the fact that Fred and George are the testers, which I do think is hilarious because they're going through, and obviously Molly thinks that what they're doing is incredibly dangerous. But I do love the fact that at the very least, in the beginning, Fred and George are just testing it on themselves.
Yeah.
So it's like they're like, we're all here for a laugh, but we don't want to put like anyone else in danger.
Right.
Like it kind of reminds me of like when they go on their pranking hiatus so that people can study for their OWLs, and they have this like touching moment with Hermione where they're like, well, we're not here to like ruin people's careers.
Right.
Like it's like, oh, you guys do care. Like
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We poisoned that other kid for our brother. It was fine.
that was different.
That was different. Yeah. I also like the CD says, oh, we take it in turns. George did the fainting fancies, which reminds me so much of the year before when they're practicing the stupefy spell.
Oh,
on,
yes.
On like Ron and Hermione, and Ron's like, it's hard to aim for the cushions. He's like, well, you keep missing them.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's like, well,
Ron's
you
like,
take a turn. He's like, I think we're done with this one.
we pretty much got
I
it.
can only imagine George gets up and he's like, "Whew, that one was a doozy. Why don't you take the next round?" And he's like, "I think it's time to move on to the nosebleed nougat."
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. So yeah, we get obviously the dialogue, a little bit of the backstory to the fact that Harry's the one who gave them the Triwizard Tournament 1,000 Galleon prize. And this is all obviously huge setup for the fact that the twins are going to sort of like depart midway through this year. Yeah.
But they've also already set up. They've already put ads in the Daily Prophet and have set up a mail order service in like 5 weeks' time.
Yes.
Since getting the gowns, which is impressive.
They get stuff done.
And their reasoning for why they're getting away with the ads of the Daily Prophet is because Mom won't read them. Doesn't read it anymore. And I'm like, you guys, I mean, I guess it's true because she hasn't found out about it. But I'm like, no one in the order is telling Molly. Nobody is reading. Exactly. Well, obviously he's not going to tell her.
Arthur's sort of like, nice.
He's like enabling it. Yeah. And I'm like, you guys are the worst spy organization ever. No one's discovered that people in the house you're living in are having a mail order service under their mother's nose.
Yeah. I think what's more surprising is that like even last year during like the whole like Witch Weekly thing with Rita Skeeter, it didn't slow Molly down from like reading it for the recipes, as Ron likes to say.
Yeah, through like his mouthful of chocolates.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But yeah, but obviously she was also lying about Hermione like playing Harry for like a love.
Yeah,
vixen,
Scarlet Woman.
Scarlet Woman, thank you. That's what Mom calls them.
Yeah, what'd you say?
That's what Mom calls them.
A Scarlet Vixen?
No. No. Never mind. Mistress? No, that was a joke from earlier. Okay.
He hasn't been lifting.
Some people think it's funny.
Anyway, so then Molly takes a seat on the bag of dead rats.
Like, they've been cleaning the room for 3 hours and Sirius left the dead rats.
I know.
In the room. Like
in the room.
I know you guys are trying to clean up my home.
Yeah.
Here's more mess for you.
Here's more mess. A bag of dead rats. They probably don't need to be refrigerated or anything for my hippogriff. I don't know. If it was me, I think if someone had put a bag of dead rats on a chair in my house, I think that's probably the last time I ever sat in that chair.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Just throw it in the fire right there with the curtains.
Yeah, throw it in the fire.
Burn everything. Start fresh.
Yeah. Just move.
Call the dragons.
Yeah, call the dragons.
A rousing game of the floor is
the
lava.
floor is lava.
Yeah.
The bag of dead rats is lava.
Right. Okay, so then we get I think we'll tackle those after lunch. And this is Mrs. Weasley pointing out the dusty glass-fronted cabinet standing on the either side of the mantelpiece that were crammed with an odd assortment of objects. And we get a nice little breakdown of all of these weird things, including an ornate crystal bottle with a large opal set in the stopper, full of what Harry was quite sure was blood. Does this not sound exactly like a blood pact?
It does.
Right?
Right.
Like
Opal Stopper?
Yeah.
Like Opal, like Crumbs Grindelwald?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys watch
Blood.
Crimes at Grindelwald, right?
Sounds like a much bigger blood pact.
Yes.
The blood pact. Is that a joke? Oh, okay.
He was messing with
You.
us. Yeah. Oh man. But anyway, yeah. So that sort of just like opens an interesting question to like who might this blood pact be between? Because obviously we know that the Black family goes back super far, super well connected. So is there anybody that they would have been protecting themselves from? We don't know. Then the doorbell rings again. Again. Yeah, they just keep ringing it.
They keep bringing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then this is where we get my next theory, because it says Molly left the room, closing the door carefully behind her. At once, everyone dashed over the window to look down onto the doorstep. They could see the top of an unkempt, gingery head and a stack of precariously balanced cauldrons, and it's of course Mundungus.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
With the cauldrons from the first chapter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the bandy legs
And the bandy legs and the ginger hair.
and the ginger hair.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Crookshanks appearance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was something that was bothering me a lot because I was like, there is a bizarre similarity between Crookshanks and Mundungus. And I was like, I can't figure out why they would be connected.
Yeah.
And then it occurred to me,
The
the Potter's cat.
Potter's cat.
So Crookshanks is the Potter's cat, right? Something like we know that the Potters had a cat.
That's the theory.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
When we go to the Magical Menagerie in book 3, we find out from the woman who works there, the witch who works there, that cat has been there for an exceptionally long time. Has a wonderful relationship with the Potter's best friend, Sirius.
Right.
But the
Bad
thing
relationship with Peter.
bad relationship with Peter, who he stalks aggressively.
Yes.
Yeah. So here was the thinking. When we go back to page 86,
I'm so glad you're going to page 86.
do you also have something for
I
page
have a page 86 note as well.
You do? Okay.
Not for this, but for later.
Okay. So here's what I'm imagining. I don't know how to deliver it best. This is where we need editing. Okay. So yeah, Ethan, I need you. This is what Harry's going to ask Sirius. How come he's in the order? Harry said very quietly. He's useful, Sirius muttered. Knows all the crooks. Well, he would, seeing as he's one himself. Call the old guard, Arabella Figg, Mundungus Fletcher. Mundungus was a member of the Order of the Phoenix with the Potters. The Potters buy a cat that looks like their fellow Order member, Mundungus.
Right.
And they name him after Mundungus.
Right.
Crookshanks.
Crookshanks. You think that's how they got the name?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the similarity. The reason they're described the same is because the Potters were like, you look like Mundungus.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
You like the Doxy eggs better, don't you?
No, I thought where you were going was that he's also like an animagus. And that like they got a cat that looked like him so that they could like swap the cats. Or something.
Why did you go to page 86?
Hold up.
Great page 86.
I know. Yeah, it's an important page, apparently. Where did I write it down? It's much later in the chapter, apparently. Oh, I missed it all there. I'll find it. Don't worry. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there when we get there.
Anyway,
know?
I think Crookshanks is named after Mundungus.
Or is also an animagus.
Or is also an animagus.
Yeah.
Gasp.
Right? Seeing as how he is one. That's what you said that made me think that.
Seeing as how he is one.
Yeah. Crooks. He is one. A Crookshanks. Crooks. A crooks.
We'll workshop it.
Okay. There's something there. See the channel in like a month.
Do we ever? Yeah.
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not. Yeah. Oh my God, that'd be so much worse. Why didn't Fred and George see Mundungus on the map? Then he'd be sleeping in the girls' dormitory.
Oh!
I don't think it's that.
This is our sauciest episode yet.
Yeah. Our sauciest episode yet. Oh gosh. Okay. Clickbait, yeah. Yeah, that's the clickbait they wanted. Where were we?
We are not running a hideout for stolen goods.
That's where we were. Yeah.
I love hearing Mom shouting at someone else, said Fred with a satisfied smile on his face. It makes such a nice change.
So that's Molly yelling at Mundungus Crookshanks the cat. So the idiots are letting her get into her stride, which I think it's funny he says idiots, plural. Because the other people down there, besides Mundungus, are Sirius and Kingsley, which to me makes it sound like Sirius and Kingsley were like, "Come on in, we got room for some cauldrons."
Right next to the bag of dead rats.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, then let's see. Oh my gosh. So now Creature, the Swole house elf, edges into the room. He takes absolutely no notice of Harry or the rest, acting as though he cannot see them. Shuffled hunchback slowly dodgily toward the far end of the room, muttering under his breath, all the while in his deep voice, "Smells like a drain with a criminal to boot, but he's no better. Nasty old blood trader with the brats messing up my mistress's house." Ugh, gross.
He said it, guys.
He said it. No.
We are interpreting it.
We're just interpreting it.
All of us.
All of us together.
Y'all are like, we're not affiliated with you.
Yeah.
He goes through that, and he does do a good job of managing to insult, I think, everyone
in the room. Yeah.
Yeah, we have mudbloods and werewolves and traitors and thieves. That one's fair. Poor old Creature.
Yeah, that's true.
What
he
can
calls?
he do?
Okay, he also he's talking to Fred and George. He says, "And there's his twin, unnatural little beasts they are." To which I'm like, do you mean Fred and George are unnatural beasts, or twins are unnatural?
Because now you've insulted me, the reader.
Because now, yeah, I'm pretty upset about that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Jay has twins.
I have twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. Is anyone here a twin? Yeah.
Hey!
Yeah.
Oh, are they right next to each other? Are you guys twins with each other?
Whoa. Oh.
Are you sure? That would be crazy.
That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool.
Long lost twins, both fans of this show, sat next to each other. Man, it's like I don't even know,
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
a 60 Minutes episode or something.
Yeah.
No, yeah. We'll continue.
Yeah. So then he realizes that Harry, well, it seems like he realizes Harry's in the room, but he's more upset that Hermione is talking to him at all. And he calls her a mudblood, which Ron and Ginny both shout him out. I should mention that when Creature entered the room, it says, "Hello, Creature," said Fred very loudly, closing the door with a snap. Which I'm like, guys, the doors are not stopping the house elves. Stop it. What are you doing?
They can just magic around. You
know.
can just magic
Also,
around.
it's-
Why are there doors?
I know. And it's like, I don't understand Fred closing the door here. Nobody wants Creature in the room. And he's like, click.
Welcome to the Thunderdome, Creature.
Are you trapping him? Okay. Yeah, and then Hermione's, of course, trying to defend him, says he's not in his right mind. He doesn't know what he's... And it's like they're all trying to talk Hermione down, but Hermione is very much correct here, that because eventually they will take Hermione's tack on this in book 7, and he will turn, change his attitude towards everyone and be a much more redeemable character.
Yes.
In the meantime, Fred's not having it. Don't kid yourself, Hermione. He knows exactly what he's saying. Click. And then he finally hears the real fact that Harry Potter's in the room and starts to wonder out loud how he survived it. And Fred's just mocking him the whole time. Don't we all, Creature? Yeah, what?
That is literally the mystery of the whole series.
That's the whole series. You put your finger on it. Yep.
You have dialed it in one. Yeah. And let's see. What do you want anyway? George asked. Creature's huge eyes darted onto George. Creature is cleaning, he said evasively. A likely story. Sirius had come back and was glowering at the elf from the doorway. The noise in the hall had abated. Perhaps Mrs. Weasley and Mundungus had moved their argument down to the kitchen. At the sight of Sirius, Creature flung himself into a ridiculously low bow that flattened his snout-like nose onto the floor.
I feel like he's mocking him here.
I think he is.
Yeah.
He's like, I have to bow to you, but I don't have to do it in a way that makes sense.
I know. He's like, I know you don't like me, so I'm going to obey you in a way that makes it obvious. Yeah, like... I think he's mocking him by bowing at him here.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and he says, "Creature's cleaning. Creature lives to serve the noble house of black." Yeah, my mother. And then he says, Master was nasty and ungrateful. Swine who broke his mother's heart. Sirius. I love their little back and forth here. It says, "My mother didn't have a heart, Creature. She kept herself alive out of pure spite." Ouch. Oh man. And then, but the creature, he just, he returns the serve. He says, "Master's not fit to wipe slime from his mother's boots. Oh, my poor mistress. What would she say of Creature serving him now? How she hated him." Which is just like, clearly after he left, she was like saying this about him.
Right.
And Creature's just parroting it now. And it's like, God, what a terrible mom.
Yeah, it's not super. It's not super.
No.
Especially when, she has no idea that Regulus also turned.
Yeah,
Completely.
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, then Sirius is like, you show up and pretend to be cleaning, you sneak something off to your room so we can't throw it out. And this is also a really good setup because obviously it ends up being kind of helpful. They're literally about to lay hands on Slytherin's locket.
Yeah.
In this room.
Yes.
So it's actually a really good thing that Creature ends up taking some of these objects away.
Yeah, so despite them trying to stop him from doing it, he is successful because we know he saves the locket.
Yeah, that's right.
Even though Mundungus then steals it. So.
Right.
The cat.
Yeah. Maybe. Possibly.
Maybe.
Or just the crooks.
Or a crook.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We're figuring it out.
Right, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Anyway, then we get a line that says, "Mistress would never forgive Creature if the tapestry was thrown out. 7 centuries it's been in the family. Creature must save it." This is kind of an interesting one because they keep talking about permanent sticking charms that are like holding artifacts in the house to the walls. But I definitely think this is Creature's magic doing this because when Harry shows up in Sirius's room in Book 7, Sirius is also using permanent sticking charms to adhere pictures of motorcycles to the walls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if he knows how to do the spell, he could probably undo it.
Right. Or maybe it's a not undoable spell.
Well, man,
It's
maybe
the permanent.
it's a one-way ticket.
Yeah, right. That's all you can do. It's stuck there.
I guess it does say permanent right there. And
Yeah. It wouldn't be a very good permanent sticking charm if you could undo it.
Hey Siri, what does permanent mean?
Oh. How many peoples did you activate?
I know. I was gonna say it would be so funny if everybody all of a sudden had their phone ringing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here.
Let's see. And then he tells it, he says, "Now go away, Creature." It seemed that Creature did not dare disobey a direct order. This is an important line because, of course, he doesn't disobey one, but he will reinterpret them to suit his own needs later on when, Sirius says, "Get out."
Right. So it's definitely something where he's looking for every available opportunity. This is also probably where they've asked him to clean potentially, and it's if he wipes up one smudge a day, it's he technically cleaned.
I cleaned. Yeah, I did it.
I don't really need to do anything else.
Yeah.
What if he's actively the one making it dirty?
I know.
He's summoning disgust.
Right. That's kind of what it seems like.
Say again. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I see. Yes.
He's working out.
Clean and jerks.
Yeah.
I got you.
Working them traps.
Right. Clean. And he's like, I am.
Yeah.
Can't you tell?
You see my bench, man?
I'm ripped. Anyway, then we get the explanation too, because and this is again where it's how good is the Order of the Phoenix at their job? Because Hermione is like, well, if you just set him free, and then Sirius is like, we can't set him free. He knows too much about the Order. And it's this is one of those things where it's you could have set him free before you talked about the Order in front of him.
Right.
And then
Could've
he
done
just
that.
would have been gone and not a liability.
Right.
But instead, here we are.
Yup. And then he also says, in any way, the shock would kill him. You suggest to him that he leaves this house. See how he takes it. That's a bit of irony there because he's going to tell him to get out, and it does not kill Creature. But it does the kill Sirius.
Yes.
Yeah. I know.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Because it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
I like that version of the joke.
Yeah.
That plays well. Okay, anyway, so then they kind of direct their attention over to the family tree for the noble and most ancient house of Black with the family motto of toujours pure, which means always pure. That's right.
Yeah.
One of the things I think is kind of interesting about it is that like I always interpret the title of this as the most noble and ancient house of Black, but it's like it's the most aspect is in reference to the age, not to the nobility of the thing. Right?
Right.
So what then I also think is interesting is that there isn't really, well, I guess nobility is different from royalty.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
These guys all know. I watched Bridgerton.
It was page 84.
Page 84.
Yeah.
Are you there? Did you find out why?
Not yet, but we're getting there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So then Harry starts asking questions about it, and he's like, "You're not on here." And then Sirius basically explains, "I used to be right there, but after I left, my sweet old mother blasted me off after I ran away from home."
Which he must have not realized, of course, until he got back. Right?
She must have not realized.
No, Sirius must have not realized that he was blasted off the family tree
Oh.
until like a few months, like last month.
It's kind of sad to imagine Sirius going back to his old house, walking into that room, and looking at the tapestry, being like, "Oh, wow." Huh.
Hey,
Like, do you think he was
of
all
course.
alone for that?
Yeah, probably.
He probably could have used a buddy.
Yeah, probably.
Lupin! Where was Lupin? Witherwings.
With the wings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Buckwing.
Buckwing,
Yeah.
with the wings.
Right. This is also when we find out that Sirius moved out of the house when he was 16 and that he moved over to the Potter's house just for
Yeah.
a year before he got a place of his own, thanks to the inheritance he received from his uncle Alphard, which is a little piece of trivia there. If you can store that one away and don't get it confused with Neville's uncle, Uncle Algy.
Yeah, a couple Uncle A's.
Uncle A's,
Yeah.
a couple of them. But algae is more like
plants,
plantish.
yeah.
Technically different, but I think the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like all herbology liked. Let's see here.
But it does mean he got a place of his own. So like when he was telling Harry, like, if you want to come live with me,
He means that place.
He means that place, not this place.
Not this place.
Yeah. Makes you wonder what happened to that place, though.
I know. I bet it's cool.
I know. I bet it is cool.
Do you think he has like a muggle garage?
I think he definitely has a muggle garage where he kept the motorcycle. Yes.
That's awesome.
1,000,000%.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What is a wizard garage? It's like the Weasleys. It's where you keep your collections of plugs.
Plug. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Arthur
And
does.
ducks. Yes, exactly.
Where's the
In the wizard garage.
Yeah. Maybe Sirius and Arthur bonded over that.
Probably.
What do you keep in yours?
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think Arthur makes a bunch of adjustments to the motorcycle.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He adds the button,
Yeah, adds the button.
the purple button.
The purple button.
But why did you leave? Sirius smiled bitterly. Because I hated the whole lot of them. My parents, with their pure blood mania, convinced that to be a Black made you practically royal.
Which is pretty much how, like, Draco also feels about himself.
It's also practically the definition of nobility.
Yeah,
is being
practically.
practically royal.
So, yeah, it feels like...
Figured it out.
definitely feels like they assigned themselves the noble. Yeah.
Can you just do that?
You can just do it. You know what? We can't. No one stopped them.
That's right. Maybe
Yeah.
right, we are officially changing the title of our channel to Noble Carlin Brothers.
The noble Carlin brothers. There you go. You're like, are they nobility? And we'll be like, it says it right there. Like, can they just say that? And I'm like, well, we did. So,
well,
yeah. Yeah.
the most ancient.
the most ancient Carlin family.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that old.
Then we get a bit of information about Regulus, which is obviously incredibly interesting because it says Regulus Black, a date of death some 15 years previously, followed the date of birth. This is a really key point in our Regulus is the former chosen one theory.
Yes.
And the basic idea here is that Harry wasn't the first person to be chosen, but people before him had basically been selected. So there theoretically could have been a prophecy about Regulus in particular. And I mean, it fits in some ways in that like Regulus is the only person other than Harry and Dumbledore and Ron and Hermione, obviously, who end up learning about the Horcruxes. He does successfully steal one of them. But the 15 years is really specific because at this moment, Harry is 15, which means that some 15 years previously could mean that it aligned right with Harry's birth.
Right.
Almost as if like a baton passed. And that's why it's like as the 7th month dies.
Right.
And we have made a whole video about it. You can go through all the math on the dates and everything, but it lines up dangerously
Pretty
close.
good. It doesn't have to line up with Harry's birth. It has to line up with the prophecy. Or that would be that's like the most fun explanation.
Yes.
Is if like Regulus is getting pulled beneath the lake, and that is when Dumbledore is interviewing Trelawney.
Right.
And that is the catalyst for the prophecy. Yeah. Anyway, there's a full bit. I know, right? That's a pretty fun one. We were really excited about that one.
we were like, whoa,
It works.
we've never caught this before.
Yeah. But so we find out he joined the Death Eaters. And then we get a really interesting bit here, because you always think of the Blacks and, like, obviously, like, the portrait of Sirius's mother is, like, so terrible downstairs. But he says, no, but believe me, they thought Voldemort had the right idea. They were all for the purification of the wizarding race, getting rid of Muggleborns and having purebloods in charge. They weren't alone either. There were quite a few people before Voldemort showed his true colors, which is sort of like everyone like really loved him right up until they were like, whoa, hey, hey, whoa, we didn't think you meant like murdering and stuff.
It was cool until the Dark Mark. The Dark Mark was the part too far.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bet my parents thought Regulus was a right little hero for joining up first. And then you kind of get like a little... At first, right. Yes, you're right. So it
seems
does
like eventually even the Blacks were like, we don't like this guy.
Yeah. We're backpedaling. We're backpedaling. Yeah. We were never aligned with him. Then we get a little bit of information as well about like the idea of like the honor of being murdered by Lord Voldemort, because Sirius is like, I doubt Regulus was ever important enough to be killed by Voldemort in person. And that, I mean, it's kind of true.
Kind of true. Yeah. I mean, the pursuit of the Horcrux kills him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. But it says, from what I found out after he died, he got so far, then panicked about what he was being asked to do and tried to back out. And what's kind of cool about Regulus in this regard is that it's really his affection for Creature that pushes him back, which I think is like I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he's basically like, yo, okay, like I was kind of okay with some of it, but like now you're like trying to kill my house elf. You know?
Hey,
like,
what are you doing, man?
we live together.
Yeah. He's my bro. Did you say lift?
Lift,
Lift,
yeah.
not live. You think Regulus was like pretty doing some Quidditch tryouts?
Quietly jacked.
Yeah, quietly
Yeah.
jacked. Okay, so anyway, this is what my confusion was. Is I wrote page 86 on the page, but I went back and actually it's page 84.
Oh,
so
no.
it's a personal error. But this is it.
Okay,
what
there.
happened? Ready? Okay, so what happens next is Mrs. Weasley returns with lunch. I know, groundbreaking, right? Prepare yourselves for hypocrisy. Anyway, it says she was holding her wand high in front of her, balancing a huge tray loaded with sandwiches and a cake on its tip. My goodness. Now, you guys haven't heard the last chapter yet, so I'll bring you back to page 84, where the very night before, this is also a quote from Mrs. Weasley in response to Fred and George trying to magic a cauldron of soup onto the table. For heaven's sake! There was no need. I've had enough of this. Just because you're allowed to use magic now, you don't have to whip your wands out for every little thing. She said calmly. Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So, not 12 hours prior, she is yelling at the twins for trying to magic food on the table.
And here
she is magicking a plate of sandwiches. I mean, Molly, just because you can do it doesn't mean you have to, okay?
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
just,
Jay, you got her.
I got.
Got.
Molly. Man, give the twins a break, you know?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yep. So from there we get a little bit more information about the backstory of other important Blacks, including there's Phineas Nigellus, my great-great-grandfather, least popular headmaster Hogwarts ever had.
You can meet him in Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's the headmaster there.
There you go.
Yeah, 100 years ago.
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Crazy. I so hope they cast him to play the character in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be so good.
I bet he would do it.
I bet they would.
Then we have Araminta
Melliflua.
Melliflua.
Yeah.
Like I was going to say. Gesundheit. A little bit of trivia there.
Don't mind the bats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tried to force through a ministry bill to make Muggle hunting legal.
Gosh.
It's like, wow, that one's bad.
You feel like she's probably the one who also started mounting the heads on the wall, the house elves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not.
But it's not.
It's dear Aunt Elladora.
Oh, you're right.
It's the next sentence.
It's the next sentence.
This family rolls deep, man.
They like hunting.
They do.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Hunting like the house elves? Is that like... No. That's not what you mean.
I feel like if they had gotten through the bill for the muggle hunting, there would be other heads on the wall.
Oh, no!
Is what I mean.
What a crazy chapter. What a crazy chapter.
I know.
The most dangerous game.
Exactly.
Anyway, I see Tonks isn't on here. Maybe that's why Creature won't take orders from her. He's supposed to do what anyone in the family asks him. This one is strange.
This is a really strange one.
Yeah, because it does seem like that should be true in the way that Dumbledore tests to see whether or not Harry has become the master of Creature is to summon him and asks Harry to give him a command that he must listen to.
Which he has to listen to him against his will.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the fact that he's able to determine for himself that he doesn't have to take orders from Tonks is weird.
Right. Unless somehow having your name burned off the family tree is magically enforcing that, but then the legal passage of the house from Sirius to Harry is...
Well, but then he wouldn't have to listen to Sirius.
Well, that's...
Yeah.
But... Okay. Backpedaling in real time. Is Tonks blasted off the tree or never listed on the tree? Because Andromeda's name is blasted off because of the marriage to Ted Tonks.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's solid.
So never included.
Never included.
Right.
Man. Okay. All right.
Okay. I saved myself there. That was almost bad.
That was almost
Yeah.
bad.
Walked right into it.
Yeah. I was put a Molly Weasley right there.
No. Honestly, that's kind of high praise.
I know.
Under most circumstances.
For the most parts, yeah.
But yeah, then we also learned about Andromeda. Andromeda leads to the other Black Sisters, which is going to be Narcissa and woo, and Bellatrix Black.
Are we cheering for those two? Or?
I mean, she stands up to Voldemort eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
And she's not a formal Death Eater.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
yeah. She kind of goes the black route. She's sort of like, yeah, we support this until she's like, wait a second. Actually, I don't like this guy very much.
I pretty much need to make sure my son's okay, and that's about all I care about.
About all I care about, yeah.
Right. But yeah, so then Harry discovers that Sirius is related to Draco, which has just got to be a real punch in the gut.
He's like,
it's
what?
This was supposed to be my thing.
This was my thing.
I'm not sharing Sirius.
Why can't I have anything?
But all the pureblood families are interrelated. If you're not going to let your sons and daughters marry purebloods, your choice is very limited. There are hardly any of us left. Molly and I are cousins by marriage, and Arthur is something like my second cousin once removed. This is obviously super important, especially when it comes to the House of Gaunt. Is sort of understanding how these prestigious pureblood families can fall so aggressively from grace.
Yeah, pretty much. The irony being that they're almost literally ruining their blood by keeping it pure.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly. I think that's eloquently stated.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get kind of the breakdown of Bellatrix, and Sirius is they're in Azkaban. Bellatrix and her husband Rodolphus came in with Barty Crouch Jr. Rodolphus' brother Ravison. He was there with them too. Did you guys hear it that time?
That was I think it's the air conditioning coming on. Or the bats.
Or a portal.
Oh.
I just like to think about the fun opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the name Lestrange starts to tickle something in Harry's brain here. Bellatrix's full name has not been stated actually in the books to this point. He has heard Lestrange from Sirius in the cave last year, and then when he was in the graveyard, Voldemort said, the Lestranges should be here.
Right.
So he has heard that much, and now he knows the first name, and we're about to get the very first mention of Bellatrix Lestrange's full name. It says, and Harry remembered he had seen Bellatrix Lestrange inside Dumbledore's pensive. So there you go. That's her full name. And it seems like it takes a very long time to introduce her, and then she ends up being such a problem.
Very important.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's obviously a really important one for this book in particular as well, because it's when Neville will finally talk to somebody about it.
Yeah.
And we learn the fate of Frank and Alice.
And for other reasons.
Yeah.
Because she'll kill Sirius.
Oh, yeah. That one. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, right.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Well,
Too soon.
Because it hasn't happened yet. Yeah. So Harry's all like, she's your cousin? And Sirius is like, no, she's not my I mean, technically, yes, but obviously he's like, no, I have, found family. And, they're not my family. I don't know them. I haven't talked to them forever. The only time I saw them was them coming into Azkaban. Like,
Right.
Your father was more family than I ever had.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Do you think I'm proud of having relatives like her? Sorry, Harry replied quickly. I didn't mean. I was just surprised. It doesn't matter. Don't apologize. Sirius is really he's hard to talk with.
Yeah.
In this house. He's
I'm
always
mad at you. I'm sorry. Don't apologize.
I'm sorry.
But you can tell he's just having a hard time. So I never thought I'd be stuck back in this house again. And then Harry has to think like, yeah, how would he feel if he's one day had to go live with the Dursleys again, or at number 4 Privet Drive at all? It'd be
Right.
pretty terrible.
I mean, I talked about it so much in the first 3 books, but that is the constant threat that is always hovering over Harry's head, where it's like the worst case scenario isn't death, it's expulsion, because it means he's going to have to go live with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Spells.
exactly. Need to sort out your priorities.
Then we get some very important lore, because we learned that Dumbledore is adding his protection to number 12 Privet Drive, and Dumbledore is secret keeper for the Order, so nobody can find headquarters unless he tells them personally.
So there's no reason to lock the door.
There's no reason to lock the door.
Yeah.
Or ring the doorbell.
Or the doorbell.
Everything's totally fine.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't die or something.
That wouldn't happen.
It wouldn't happen.
It wouldn't happen.
Ah,
At least not yet.
it's too soon.
Okay, so then Sirius is also just desperately looking for something to do. He is wondering whether or not he can bring Harry to the trial as Snuffles, just as a bit of moral support. And it's so funny too, because this is one of those things where Harry has that sinking feeling in his stomach about this, and it's he's sad Sirius can't go, but I also feel like part of him's like, it's not smart for you to go.
Yeah, him and Sirius are both they're having such similar exchanges right now, because Sirius is like, oh, I don't want to go, I don't want to live here again, and Harry's like, I wouldn't want to live with the Dursleys, and they're both trying to get the other one to throw them a bone here, and
Right.
both of them are not going to do it.
Right, exactly, yes.
Yeah.
It's they both have something to offer that would make the other person feel happy, and neither of them is willing to do it.
Yeah, exactly, but they both try, because Sirius is like, what if I just turned into a dog and came with you to the Ministry? And Harry's like,
Don't do that.
I don't know if you need to do that. And then Harry's like, but speaking of the Ministry, if I do get expelled, I can come live here, right? And Sirius is like, well, we'll see.
Yeah, it must be bad if you prefer this place,
Yeah.
but probably not. Probably not, because Sirius almost certainly knows about the bond of blood, so you really can't not go back to the Dursleys, unfortunately.
Dursleys, yeah.
But then we get to kind of scoot forward, finally, to a variety of the other objects that are inside of the drawing room here. They were very reluctant to leave their dusty shelves. Sirius sustained a bad bite from a silver snuff box. Within seconds, his bitten hand had developed an unpleasant, crusty covering like a tough brown glove.
Ugh, gross.
Yeah. It's wart cap powder.
Yeah, wart cap powder.
Why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, Fred and George use it for something.
Yeah, they steal it.
Right.
For
This
sure.
is something we need to do, is to go through and figure out all of the things that they made out of all the things they steal.
Yeah, basically, yeah. What are they making here?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they find an unpleasant looking silver instrument. They smash it with a book, Nature's Nobility, a wizarding genealogy, just fun trivia. Please don't ask it. And then the big one, also just after a semicolon, not even a full sentence dedicated to this one. Also, a heavy locket that none of them could open, comma, a number of ancient seals in a dusty box. That's it. It is so just passed over.
It's
Right there. But that's the locket. That is Slytherin's locket right there.
right. And part of you almost could think okay, it was so easy to go and just choose something to make it be the artifact, but it's almost unique in that it doesn't have more of a descriptor.
Right.
It's just a heavy locket that no one can open.
No one can open it. Whoops.
Everything else has more to it, but no. Then of course there's the Order of Merlin in first class, which has been awarded to Sirius's grandfather. And at this point, I'm like, they're just handing those things out.
I know. Well,
You
at this
know?
one, it's like it's the way it's on the page is funny because it said services of the ministry. I literally wrote, "Oh, what do you do?" And then the next sentence is, "It means he gave them a lot of gold." I was like, "Oh,
That's what he did.
got it,
Yeah.
cool."
Right.
Yeah.
Several times, Creature settled into the room, attempted to smuggle things away under his loincloth, once again, to the benefit of everyone.
Yeah.
We get the large golden ring bearing the black crest. That is kind of an interesting one because it just reminds me a lot of the Peveril ring.
The Peveril ring.
It feels like this might be the kind of thing that like wizards own.
It does. It probably makes like this one sentence probably just like helps you like throw like the suspicion away from the Gaunt family ring later on.
Yes.
Because at that point, maybe you'd be like, hey, the locket was something. I wonder if the ring was something. You'd be like, no, the blacks have rings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a ring. Yeah. Anyway, that's when we also learned, or moving on though, then we learned that it took 3 days to fully decontaminate the drawing room. Moody had not dropped by headquarters yet, so they still couldn't see what's inside. That's mostly just convenient so that like Molly doesn't end up interacting with the boggart until after the hearing.
Until the book wants her to.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. They find spiders large as saucers that has Ron hurriedly leaving the room.
I know.
How they didn't find these giant spiders sooner?
How they didn't find some of these things is crazy. Yeah, there's just giant spiders in there, which makes you wonder like if they're acromantulas as well.
Ooh.
To then also then makes you wonder like did Fred and George steal some of these spiders?
Oh,
because if I
yes.
recall, you can get like 10 gallons a pint to the right cellar. You know?
That's right.
Right, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know what I wish Slughorn said what you could use the acromantula venom for. Yeah, but he doesn't. And then let's see. So then Harry says he feels like they're waging war on the house, aided and abetted by Creature, who's just like stealing all the stuff away, becoming more and more offensive somehow. And then Sirius threatens to free him, and he says this, but Master will not turn Creature away, no, because Creature knows what they're up to. Oh, yes, he's plotting against the Dark Lord. So I feel like that hole's in there. It's like, Creature is a lot smarter than you realize. He realizes the nuance of the situation. He's like, yeah, I do have to be here, and I can't leave, but I also really get to annoy you because you can't make me leave.
Because you can't make me leave. I have something on you.
Yeah.
Then the doorbell rings several more times a day. Snape flitted in and out of the house. He also caught sight of his Transfiguration teacher, Professor McGonagall, looking very odd in a muggle dress and a coat. She seemed too busy to linger. It seems like more opportunities to keep people involved, but also nobody can give Harry any information whatsoever.
Yeah. Also, I'm surprised it took them that long to find the spiders, but then you get this slide where it says, Tonks joined them for a memorable afternoon in which they found a, quote, murderous old ghoul lurking in an upstairs toilet. I'm like, has no one been to that bathroom in 5 weeks? Like, no one's gone in there?
Or they did.
Or they did.
And
someone died.
It's
Murderous.
The Order actually has recruited 3 people.
Yeah.
One of them is missing.
He's gone now.
So you guys laugh when it's not one of our like most beloved and endearing
right?
characters.
Yeah,
who's dying.
right. No, yeah. Now it's funny because it's already happened. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Then we get like one of those details that I just can't believe I never remember at all. But Mundungus redeemed himself slightly in Mrs. Weasley's eyes by rescuing Ron from an ancient set of purple robes. So Ron continuing to have fantastic success with ancient robes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. They were his old dress robes. It also, it feels like, I don't know why this would foreshadow it, but like something similar happened with the brains to Ron later on when he's in the Order.
You're right. Yes. That's a good point. So maybe this
I don't know why that needs foreshadowing.
Yes, Jay.
Yeah, I set this up.
The brain tentacles are foreshadowed by the purple robes.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. We are literary geniuses. Okay, so pretty much as we coast our way out of the chapter here, we get a bit of an exchange where Molly is basically letting Harry know that she's ironed all of his best clothes for tomorrow morning, which is like I imagine she's like, why are they all so big?
Yeah.
Like in relation to, but anyway, they look great. Yeah. She suggests that he washes.
Did you lose weight? Have you been lifting?
Have you been lifting?
Yeah.
There are barbells.
You found
everywhere.
Creature set, did you?
Yes. Yeah. We have really taken this joke places. Yeah.
The chapter art, man.
I know. Who knew?
Yeah.
Creature.
Was Regulus a spotter?
Oh,
Obviously.
yes.
Obviously.
Yeah. That's why it's got to be so strong. We find out that Arthur is going to be taking Harry in the morning, and this is where you kind of get the exchange where Sirius is like super upset because Dumbledore has basically made the decision for Sirius and is like, yeah, you're not going.
Yeah.
And Molly is like, and I must say, I think, sorry.
Right.
I think he's quite right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Through clenched teeth. Yeah.
Through gritted, clenched teeth. There you go. Yeah. When did Dumbledore tell you that? And this is just another one of those things where it's like Harry's morale is just taking shot after shot.
Yeah.
But basically Dumbledore has come last night when you were in bed, and Harry's like, Dumbledore came and didn't talk to me at all the night before my hearing?
Yeah.
Doesn't even know I'm the chosen one?
Does
Maybe he's forgotten. Somebody should mention it to him.
Someone should mention it to him.
Yeah.
I know. And it's like, it's just so much worse. Because like Dumbledore is doing all of this stuff. He's just not like, it's putting so much effort into making sure that Voldemort doesn't get the prophecy and that Harry doesn't learn about the prophecy, which he knows he has to tell him about like pretty soon now.
Yes.
Like all in the name of like Harry gets to live like a somewhat more normal life for a little bit longer.
And yet he's not.
But
Like,
that's the thing. He doesn't have a normal life.
Harry's like, I was miserable because you didn't tell me the things.
Right.
Yeah. So rather unfortunate. So I did draw a lovely illustration, as you guys can see here, of Harry just looking quite defeated at the fact that
Man, amazing. Spot on.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel really bad about it because someone's going to get this page eventually. So I wrote them a note and said, wow, I royally or maybe nobly screwed up here. His eyes, I'm very sorry.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Signed, Ben.
Signed Ben.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Obviously you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Jay, that does bring us to the end of chapter 6. And this is the point where normally I would say, do you have a review for us? But because we actually happen to have a live
have
audience,
people here.
Maybe you guys can let us know, how did we do?
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you guys so much for being with us here tonight.
I'm going to call it 5 stars.
You're gonna call it I think that was a 5-star review.
Yeah, 5-star review,
I think
yeah.
so. Yeah. All right. I guess we have to close out.
Oh, yeah, because
Like,
it's an
'cause
episode.
it's
You
an
guys will
episode.
hear yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll put this on. This will be on the YouTube channel.
That's right.
If you're not subscribed,
Yeah,
you know, go subscribe. Go
We're
subscribe.
trying to get that silver
Probably
button.
you are because you're here,
Yeah.
but like if you're not, like silver play button, guys.
Yeah,
You can do it. Right. It'd be pretty cool. We'll put it on the set.
We will.
Yes, but otherwise, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Make sure you join us next week for Chapter 7, The Ministry of Magic, here on Through the Griffin Door. Boom.
Boom.
We did it!
Did it!
Today's episode was edited by Ethan Edghill. Vaishon Brandon does our art. Catherine Stein is our production manager, and the show is hosted by me and Jonathan Carlin.